I'm still on the Steve Kerr, like Johnathan Kuminga thing. I
It's
know,
number
I
one on the
know,
rundown. Number one
I
on the
know,
rundown.
I know, but the reports came out. The reports came out, and I'm still just disappointed in the Golden State Warriors. And then I got to thinking, well, Mike Dunleavy is there. He didn't draft Johnathan Kuminga. Steve Kerr never embraced Johnathan Kuminga, right? Bob Myers drafted Johnathan Kuminga. And I started to think like, well, Pajewski is getting more than a more than an opportunity, in my opinion. Like he's getting a better opportunity than Johnathan Kuminga is. And I was wondering why. And I think it has something to do with who drafted the guy, right? Who drafted the guy, who's in office, who's not in office, how Steve Kerr favors guys that are role players. Like Pajemski is going to be a hell of a role player, but Jonathan Kuminga, he want he doesn't want to be like nailed down into being a role player, and that's okay. You drafted him with the number seven pick. Here's the thing: they only offered the man 2 year, like 40 something $1 million, 41. Like,
So Perk,
Their
just rather
current, let
quick.
me just give you a little bit of context here. ESPN reports today, to your point, Perk, that Kuminga is declining every Warriors offer. He wants 30 plus million. Warriors offering him 20 million. Okay. Shams saying that the Phoenix Suns are aggressively pursuing him, offering nearly 70 million more in guaranteed money than the Warriors. He has offers worth up to 90 million over 4 years from the Suns and the Kings.
And is he allowed? So as a restricted free agent, he is a restricted because it's the end of his rookie term, right? So he's a restricted
So the
free agent.
Warriors are close to ending all sign and trade talks and giving Kuminga the choice of either signing their current offer of 45 million over 2 years or accepting the 7.9 million qualifying
well,
offer.
that's fucked up.
Well, wait a
That's
second.
fucked.
But wait a second. Just to be clear, so they're going to shut down trade because again, these are tactics. The team might be trying to get more value. You've seen it. We're not trading Kevin Durant when he asked for a trade at the start of the season. They traded him later in the season. So we see these things where it's like, hey, because right now currently your value is quote unquote low, we'd rather either sign you, get your value up, and then trade you for more because then you'll be a bargain at that price. But this is my question. So when they say the sign and trades are, they're going to stop that. He's an unrestricted free agent, right? Or he's a restricted free agent. He's a restricted free agent. So that means that, does that mean he can sign an offer with the team and then the Warriors have the option to match it and let him go? So that's my question. Can't he sign that 4 years, $90 million deal with Phoenix? And then just like DeAndre Ayton did with the Phoenix Suns, I think he signed it with Indiana, I believed, and then they matched it. So that's the part that I'm confused. If he's got that option with Phoenix or has that option with other teams, or is it that Phoenix wants to offer him that money, but it's only could work if it's done via sign and trade? Because that's where I'm saying if he's a restricted free agent, he should get a qualifying offer from a team. The Golden State Warriors have X amount of time to either match it or let him go. Why is that not on the table, and why have other teams not offered him just that?
Those are something obviously that I'm sure will unfold as this all unfolds. But I guess the bigger picture, does he deserve that money?
Well, let me say this real quick to address Perk's point real quick. You say
Yep.
that Dunleavy didn't draft him. I think Dunleavy might have been a part of the organization. Don't quote me. But that being said, who was a part of the organization are the Lakeups, right? The Lakeups are very involved. I don't say this in a negative sense. They've done a great job with this organization. They created a dynasty, but they're involved in the draft process, especially when they had, what was it, the number 2 or 3 pick, then the number set. They had 3 first round picks that year. It was the whole organization was all hands on deck. Steve Kerr, all like everybody, Lakeup, Bob Myers was a part of this also. He was a part of that when he was still there. So everybody was involved. That was the next generation. That was the next generation that was supposed to carry the Warriors. You get the number 2 pick, you get the number 7 pick, and then whatever Moody was, I don't recall. So I'm saying is that you get all of that with your older guys, and you're like, oh, this is supposed to carry us. This is what we've talked about, the younger generation. So everyone was involved. I don't say that, oh, well, that wasn't Dunleavy's pick so that he's not getting an opportunity, but Pajimski is. Steve Kerr was involved in picking these guys. Bob Myers, Lacob was involved because this was the shift for the franchise. So that's the only place that I'll push back when you say, oh, he wasn't this pick, so he's not getting the opportunity. Steve Kerr drafted him. Bob Myers drafted him. Lacob drafted him. Right? All these guys drafted them, and it's just not working out the way they would like.
Let me ask you a question. How do you view, because I never asked you this and I never heard your side, how do you view Johnathan Kuminga as a player? What do you think his ceiling is? Like, when you watch a player like that, what do you see? Like, is his ceiling all-star? Is his ceiling all NBA? Is you looking at him as a role player that's going to have a hell of a career? Like, what
No,
do
no.
you?
This is what I look at him, and I think you can see the similarities. I look at Jalen Green, or is it Jalen Green? Jalen Green, yes, in Houston, now in Phoenix currently,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
All of the talent in the world, all of the talent, but still needs more hours to learn how to play basketball. He needs to learn more out, like an IQ. All of the talent is there. If you're Houston, why would you trade this young kid that can average 20? He was the number 2 pick. He's developing skill wise and talent wise, is developing into a 20-point a game scorer. You don't just give up on them, or you don't, but there's still so much growth and maturity that needs to take place there in Jalen Green. But all of the talent is there, and he's at. I look at Johnathan Kuminga as the exact same. And what I look at, Steph Curry is one of the most unique players to play with. There is a flow state. There is an understanding. There is a seeing things before things happen. There is you got to just keep moving it. There's a flow to playing with Steph Curry that's unique to other players. So your basketball IQ has to be fairly high because you're trying to maximize this superstar once in a generation player. I don't think his basketball IQ is bad, but I don't know he wants to prove, but Steph Curry's moving around. That's who you got to find and hit. If you're trying to prove, which you might be, but Steph Curry's moving around, both of those things don't mesh. Right? Steph Curry, we've said it, the way he plays and the movement and the movement offense with Draymond's so quick with those dribble handoffs. He's so quick with the pass cut, do this. Their movement offense is almost a flow state without thinking. And if you have a young player that's trying to develop and prove something within the flow state, that is very, very hard. So if he was in a place where he could grow and play, I think he's a 20-point a game scorer, 18 to 20-point a game scorer. I think he's an all-star caliber player. But in that system, that is not the best flow. And I'll give you one last example. Joe Johnson, when he was in Phoenix, I want to say he averaged like 15 points a game. But they recognized that he was playing 30 minutes a game at 15 points a game. Atlanta went and gave him all the money, and then he turned into ISO Joe. Then he turned into a 25-point a game scorer. James Harden was a 6-man in in OKC. He goes and turns into Super James in Houston. So maybe he does need a different place, but I think the way the Warriors are playing, it didn't mesh with what individual goals are, and he's already won a championship. So he ain't trying. It ain't all about the team. It's about the bag.
Yeah, I agree, but I still think the Warriors are treading in dangerous waters when it comes down to this Kuminga situation, because we all could agree that this window with Steph and Jimmy and Draymond is probably max 2 years, maybe
3 years,
it's
3
still
years.
open. All right,
Yeah.
so what's next after that? Or the Warriors are not even thinking after that. My thing is this, right? And I say this like. And I look at it, take this for example. And we know it's different, but okay, Richard, you started at ESPN, right? You've been at ESPN for a while. Allie, I've been at ESPN for a while, right? We basically had to work our way to where we at today, right? A lot of hurdles, a lot of politics, A lot of getting called into the principal office because we said some shit that didn't ruffle the feathers. Richard didn't been there, I didn't been there, right? Like we didn't had these conversations like, all right, man, keep your head. It's part
Yeah.
of it, move on. Right? So I always look at it like this. I look at it like at ESPN, like you basically drafted a Richard Jefferson and a Kendrick Perkins. You developed them through your system, right? Through your system and how you go about doing things. And you elevated them to the top where Richard now is calling play-by-play in the NBA Finals, right? Like game, like at the highest level. You got me on countdown. Like, why would you give up on it? That's the same way I'm looking at Johnathan Kuminga. You drafted this young man. Ever since you drafted him, you never had to question anything about it. We've never heard reports about him working hard. He works his ass off. He's gotten better every single season. Did he take a step back last season? Absolutely he did.
I think some of that was a contract stress.
Right. Contract, Jimmy, he was injured, all that. But if you go and look at his points per game, it started elevating. Before last year, it was 16 points per game. Last year, 14 points per game. And now it's like, my thing is when you draft a guy in the lottery, because here's my thing. Everybody is always, when a trade is coming about, Allie, even with the Lakers, right? The Lakers are now holding on to these fucking picks. Everybody want to hold on to picks. Everybody was talking about New Orleans got a F for a grade because they gave up a pick from last year because they for next year because they traded up because they wanted to go get the guys that they wanted. If you value picks that much, but then when they get to the point that you actually use those picks and you draft guys in the lottery and you have a guy that is showing you that he has a promising future, and your guys that are the franchise guys only have max a 3-year window when you have a 20, 22, 23-year-old that's showing you that, like, I'm capable of being a 20-point scorer, why not invest into this young man? Like
But this is what I'm expressing to you. I am not saying that they are not investing, but again,
they not. I'm saying not the dollars, RJ.
I understand. What I'm saying is you're still looking at it as a parent. You got to look at it sometimes and say, what can, and I'll put 60% on the Warriors, but I'm still going to put 40% on him. What could you be doing differently? You got to ask that question, Perk. Steve Kerr has won 10 championships. He won 3 with the Bulls, some with the Spurs, Golden State. Like, he's won so many championships. He's played young players before. He's played the Kevon Looney's. He's played the Pajimskis. He's played Jordan Poole. He's dealt with Jordan Poole's crazy ass shots. Like, he's dealt with young players that they've developed into that. So we got to say, what is it that Kuminga is missing? That's all we got to say.